Well, now it's beach season in New York. I gotta get my goggles on so I could see at the bottom of the ocean. If you're like a place like Orchard Beach, I don't think you want to see the bottom of the water. It's like, what are you stepping on? I'd rather not know. Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees. Well, the Yankees catch a bit of a bad break. Anthony Rizzo fractures his arm. Going to put him out 4 to 6 weeks there, so we'll kind of get into injury, what happened. I mean, we've seen collisions with him at first base before, and of course the solutions the Yankees do to deal with the situation. But mostly, this is going to be a positive episode because finally, we have Gerrit Cole scheduled to join the Yankees in the regular season. Going to make his first start of the year. Again, been waiting all this since spring training there when we thought we lost him, but he will finally now get thrown right into the fire against the Orioles, so we'll kind of preview all that stuff. And of course, I mentioned before that series at Fenway, story going around that perhaps the Yankees been exposed, mainly with the running game, and perhaps the Yankees catching staff isn't up to snuff. We'll kind of dive into that and give you some stats there because you love those stats there. And last but not least, All-Star games is going to be around the corner. The voting is already started there, and you're going to be shocked who's actually in first place. Really, you shouldn't be shocked. So get you all that good stuff there, but make sure before we get started, there's an audio podcast version of the show. So even though you're watching me here, but if you want my takes on more things, if you want to know what's more in my brain more versus seeing me, you have to subscribe to the audio podcast version of Section 420 Talkin Yankees. So wherever you get your favorite podcast, Section 420 Talkin Yankees, the podcast. And of course, if you're a usual watcher here on YouTube, you probably subscribed already, but in case you didn't, you may want to do that. And if you're just watching on TV for the first time, wow, you're just flipping the channels, like this is a great show, I want to get more of this type of stuff here. Well, of course, you got to subscribe first on YouTube. And again, like I said before, wherever you get your favorite podcast, Section 420 Talkin Yankees, the podcast, get it all. So Anthony Rizzo, you got to feel sorry for him after last year, again, having the collision with Fernando Tatis Jr. at first base there, which gave him the concussion, which pretty took him out of 2023. Comes back this season, again, not exactly hitting well. As soon as I kind of got on the last episode, hit a home run in Kansas City, so maybe he's coming back a little bit. He actually made a good flashing play as well. And unfortunately, the series there at Fenway, the Sunday night game, has a collision with Brendan Bernardino of Boston, the first baseman there. Went down hard. You could just tell something was not good there. First, was kind of holding his wrist a little bit, so maybe it could have been a fractured wrist. Now, they took the X-rays at Fenway Park there at Sunday night. They really didn't see anything, but of course, once he traveled back to New York to get further imaging, they found a fracture in his arm, so that's going to put him on the shelf now for 4 to 6 weeks, so a little bit over a month now. Yankees are going to be without Anthony Rizzo. Now, there's a couple ways you can look at this. I mean, it almost could be a blessing in disguise, and you hate to say, because you like the guy, he's a positive guy. You see all the pictures of like him and Judge and Stanton go to Ranger games and go to Knick games, all that stuff like that. But look, he's been doing terrible this season, so again, this could be almost a blessing in disguise in a way. Now, normally, if DJ LeMahieu was hitting well, obviously DJ's going to get some time there at first base, but even he's not doing well, and that's just something I'll get into in a moment there. But the good news is the Yankees are going to call Ben Rice. So he's the catcher slash first baseman there. Again, fans have been kind of calling for this, a little bit of rumblings, but of course now with Rizzo out, this definitely opens the door up. And the reason why this is good news for the Yankees is because first base overall between Rizzo and DJ, the production there has been doing well. So now this gives Yankees an opportunity to actually add a lively bat to actually put up some numbers at first base, because again, Rizzo and DJ just haven't been getting the job done. Now, in Double-A, he was doing quite well, so the Yankees did bump him up to Triple-A there. I'll just give you his numbers there. So they're getting him while he's hot there. Again, this is kind of fresh numbers there. So so far in Triple-A, hitting 14 out of 42. So he's hitting a .333 with 3 home runs and 10 RBIs. Again, that's after he was mashing good in Double-A, and it seemed like he just carried that over into Triple-A as well. So see him swinging a hot bat there. Only 25 years old. He's going to wear number 93 because you just know what the Yankees are. Like half the numbers are retired there. So when you have Judge coming up 99, you got Clint Frazier 77 back in the day, and Oswaldo Cabrera 95. So it's going to be hard to get like lower numbers there. So when someone comes up, it's going to be like a football number, like an offensive lineman. But nevertheless, the good news though, he's a lefty bat. So even though Rizzo goes down, you figure, the Yankees are going to lose a lefty bat. Rice is a lefty as well there, so they don't really lose in that regard. And the good news is that not only is he getting the first baseman, but he's also a catcher. So now technically this gives the Yankees 3 catchers, which late in the game for strategy, this could be good because now he could potentially pinch hit. So you don't have to always worry about, oh, well, if we move Trevino, we only have Austin Wells, so we can't move Trevino. Well, now you've got 2 catches, you could strategize a little bit. Maybe you want to pinch hit for Trevino. Maybe Trevino's going up against a tough righty there. So, whether you want to bat, Austin Wells in that spot, or maybe you want to bat Ben Rice there to pinch hit there. So now it gives the Yankees another weapon as having another catcher. But more importantly, it gives them an opportunity to put some production up there because, as I've said before, Anthony Rizzo just wasn't getting done. I mean, obviously, before the injury, he was hitting 223. I know, he got the 1 home run in Kansas City, great, but overall, he's been struggling. I know Judge is saying, he's been hitting the ball a little bit and stuff like that, but I don't know. I think this Judge is being a good teammate there. Look, we all seen what we've seen with Rizzo. The last 2 months have just been horrific for him. Again, you feel bad for the guy, you like the guy, you want to root for the guy, you want him to do well, but it's just... the numbers, it just hasn't been there. So I think overall this might be even good for the Yankees. Now, can't say I know much about Rice's defense at first base. I mean, do the Yankees maybe lose a tick a little bit there? Because again, Rizzo is still a good established. Whether he gets a Gold Glove or doesn't get a Gold Glove, he's just one of the better defensive first basemen overall. So maybe the Yankees lose a little bit defensively there, just not having Rizzo. But overall, I don't think it would be terrible. I think he can command the position. And again, I just think overall this could be good news for the Yankees because, we know what Judge has been doing. We know what Soto's been doing. We know what Volpe has been doing on top of the lineup. But the rest of the lineup there, this still leaves a little bit desired. I know Stanton's on and off a little bit, but I won't get on Stanton. I think so far he's had a good 2024. But you've seen Gleyber Torres be very hot and cold, mostly cold. And, of course, as mentioned before, DJ LeMahieu, since he's been back, I mean, it's been terrible right now. He's down to 188, so he's hitting below 200. I know he just got back here, but since he's been back, he's just got 9 measly hits in 48 at-bats, no home runs there, so he's not hitting the ball with any power there, and not even hitting the ball at all. I mean, he's batting under 200 there, so... And this is soon going to get a little bit uncomfortable for the Yankees because, I mean, what do you do with the guy? I mean, he's, again, almost become like an automatic out. Again, not driving the ball at all, and then again, he's hitting below 200. I mean, at least if he was hitting 250, you could kind of put up with it, but I mean, he's not even hitting right now, so it's something I think the Yankees are going to have to address a little bit. Now, the problem is that he still has another 2 years left on his contract deal, so I don't know if you could just pay him to stay home there or you just keep running him out there and hopefully this gets hot a little bit. I don't know how you're going to deal with that, but the good news now with Rice, you could put him at first base, and obviously with DJ kind of just play a little third base once in a while, and maybe spell Rice once in a while, play a little first base a little bit. At least the Yankees have the option, and at least they're not only relying on DJ LeMahieu, because otherwise, the other option would be is play Oswaldo Cabrera at third base and have DJ at first base. Where DJ defensively, he can handle first base, he's fine, that's not the problem, but his offense isn't there. At least Ben Rice now, he got some offense, and he's hitting the ball right now. You get him while he's hot, and you can insert him in. I think again, what you're going to get for Rice is definitely going to be better than what you've gotten from DJ LeMahieu, and probably it's going to be better than what you would be getting from Anthony Rizzo, who has not hit the ball at all in the past 2 months there. So you look, this is, again, a bit of a bad break for Rizzo, but again, a blessing in disguise a little bit because now you can put someone at first base and you don't have the uncomfortableness of having to bench Rizzo or having to bench DJ a little bit. This is all de facto. So it kind of works itself out a little bit now. What's going to happen 6 weeks from now? We don't know. It's just so far away. I'm assuming, let's just say Ben Rice is doing very well. I mean, how do you take the kid out of the lineup there and put him with a slumping veteran there? So, maybe this is kind of a bit of the way of pushing Rizzo out the door a little bit, or at least, give him more time on the bench. Could potentially happen. But, of course, if Rice comes up here and just absolutely stinks to join out, then that's obviously easy to insert Rizzo back in there. So we'll have to see how that all works out there. But as mentioned before, it's going to be 4 to 6 weeks. Plus, it's always a little longer than tell you. Probably have to have a couple, starts in the minors like there. He's going to have to work his way back here. So what are you looking at? Maybe sometime in middle to late August. So we'll see how, again, we'll see this, how Rizzo's there. And if Ben is still with the team and Rice is still doing well, again, it may not just be easy to pry him out of there because you can't just take your young guy like that. If you bring him up here, he's doing well. And you got your veteran who, after the season, obviously the Yankees are not going to re-sign Rizzo, and they have the club option for next year, but there's no way they pick that up because, again, this is what he is right now, and unfortunately, you wouldn't want to invest in that long term. And then, of course, DJ LeMahieu, as mentioned before, that's soon going to get to be a tough conversation. I know the trade deadline, we'll see what Cashman's going to be, I'm sure making some phone calls there. I don't know what you do, DJ. I mean, he still has money, you're paying him right now, and he has 2 more years left in that deal, and he's not even hitting, so Again, I don't think it's detrimental to the Yankees. Again, they're a couple of games in first place right now. It's not terrible. You're not panicking, but sooner or later, though, DJ might fall into the category of a Donaldson, of an Aaron Hicks, of a Joey Gallo, where they're just not even producing anymore, and you just kind of have to cut bait with them. But I don't know how you do that with DJ. I mean, they did it with Hicks with about a year left on his deal, so maybe they ended up doing DJ as well. I hope he can turn it around, but again, so far, it hasn't been looking good for him. And again, we'll see what happens with Rizzo when he comes back, probably sometime around August. So as Rizzo goes on the IL, Gerrit Cole comes off the IL, and a good time there because I think the Yankee starting rotation could probably use a little shot in the arm. So he's scheduled to pitch against the Orioles series, so they're kind of throwing him right into the fire. Again, the Yankees and the Orioles kind of neck the top of the AL East there, and that will be June 19th against the Baltimore Orioles. Now, they're hoping they can at least get him to go 80 pitches, so they want to stretch him out a little bit, but not too much. Of course, you wouldn't expect him to do 100 pitches in his first like that, but at least want to stretch him out to 80. Now, his third rehab start, and again, in the previous couple episodes, we kind of been giving the stats from the rehab, so we'll give you what his last final rehab was in AAA. The first two were in AA, but the third start, so he went 4 1/3 inning, 10 strikeouts, so 10 strikeouts in less than 5 innings there, so very dominant stuff there. And this is AAA, not AA, so a little better quality hitters, but nevertheless, pretty much, was untouchable there. Did give up 2 hits there. There was 1 run, but it was unearned there. No walks, which is important, but again, 4 innings, 10 strikeouts. I mean, that's pretty remarkable there, no walks. So the control is there, and then his velocity at its best, it hit 97.8, so almost 98 miles per hour there on his best fastball there. So the velocity there, the control is there, so they feel he's ready. So he will make that start. And again, getting thrown right into the fire against the Baltimore Orioles. I mean, you think you'd want to ease him in a little bit, but again, whatever. When he's ready to go, he's ready to go. And so he'll pitch at home against the Orioles there, and it's just good to have him back. I think the rotation could use a little bit of shot in the arm. We've seen Rendon, who again overall has been really good for the Yankees, but he has good start. Then he has like 2 bad starts, good start, bad start. He might be tiring a little bit. Nestor's been grinding a little bit. Again, he probably, if you looked at the Royals series, he only gave up 2 runs there. So obviously, he deserved a little bit better faith than that. But the offense didn't show up until the end there. So, but Nestor's been a little up and down a little bit. Of course, with getting Luis Gil is great, but you don't know how, again, can he do this for a whole season? Again, he's just coming back from Tommy John surgery. He's never pitched a full season in the majors a little bit, so, he's going to be on an innings limit. And you see what the Yankees do with him. A lot of his starts, I mean, they only put him out there for 6 innings lately. They've been doing that, so they've been eliminating his innings. You've been seeing that. Stroman overall has been good for the Yankees. I know in that Fenway game, again, a little iffy, but overall, he's been good for the Yankees. But I think Cole gives us, gives the rotation a good shot in the arm, and this is going to help everyone up and down the line. And of course, Gerrit Cole reporting no setbacks on any of these rehab starts, so that's good there. And if this goes back, and it was a little bit of a nerve issue in the elbow, so maybe this is something. Again, this is what they shut him down for a while, and then he had a throwing program, and of course making a few minor league starts, and now he'll finally join the team in the majors. Now it's not really his season debut. I mean, he did pitch a little bit in spring training, as you may recall, but you knew something was wrong there. The velocity wasn't there, and of course, remember the game against Toronto. I mean, Daniel Vogelback took him deep, which was an embarrassment. So you knew something was wrong with Cole even back then. We all had to hold our breath a little bit. We thought maybe he was going to need Tommy John surgery. Maybe it might have been a tear in the UCL or something like that, which would have been a disaster. But luckily, that wasn't the case. It was just a little nerve damage. And again, hopefully they put that all to bed, and he can just go forward from here. And of course, the Yankees right now, obviously the starting rotation is pretty set. And of course you have Clark Schmidt. He's dealing with his issue. He probably won't be back till sometime in August, which will be good because maybe at that point Luis Gil may have to slow down a little bit. Maybe they may have to flip flop a little bit. Maybe it turns out you put Clark Schmidt back into the rotation, and Gil, which is not such a strikeout weapon, maybe he's someone you can use in a bullpen. Maybe it comes like a Mariano Rivera, pitch 2 innings, kind of like what Mo used to do in '96 there. So it's just good now to have these options for the Yankees, and of course, great to have Gerrit Cole back. And one more piece of IL news, and we'll kind of get off the IL portion of the show. And that's Jason Dominguez. Went down to AAA, so this was on a check swing there. Seemed like he tweaked his oblique. So they put him on the 7-day IL there. So it doesn't seem like anything major there, just an oblique. But of course, those oblique things can always be a little nagging there. So we'll see what happens with that. But again, he was doing very well. He was hitting .389 in AAA, so he was crushing it there. No news if the Yankees are ever going to consider bringing him up right now. And it would be great if he could play first base there. That would have solved the whole the Rizzo issue, but nevertheless, he's an outfielder there. And, as right now, the way, Verdugo's been hitting well. I know Stanton is a little hot and cold a bit, but again, Stanton overall having a good 2024 season. Of course, you got Aaron Judge in center there. So, again, the Yankees are pretty much set there in the outfield, and you're not going to bring Jason Dominguez back up here just to sit on the bench a little bit. So, I don't know, and would this interfere with him ever coming up to the majors or not? I don't think so. Probably, though, just for a formality. I think maybe you will see, though, Dominguez probably up sometime in August if they even decide to bring him up, because obviously if you want to use him for the postseason, he has to be up before September. So even if he's come here up here to have a cup of coffee and they send him back down, that could be a possibility there. But nevertheless, and we'll see if this is really something that lingers there. But if it's only for the 7-day IL, it doesn't seem like anything too serious. Again, he's the golden merchandise. So if there's any, even listen, he probably could even play right now, but I just want to be extra cautious with this guy, which I understand, because again, he might come up at some point, and if you're going to use him later in the season or in the postseason, then you want him 100%. So again, you want to sit him down a little bit, no big deal. And someone who didn't need the IL was, of course, Juan Soto. The Yankees kind of avoided a little bit of bump in the road. I mean, it would have been annoying to have him down for a couple weeks, but again, that was with the whole forearm soreness there. And again, they said to shut him down for a few games, which they did, and then he was fine. He was back in the World Series and even out there in the outfield. Now, according to him, he's still not 100%, so that's kind of worrisome. Just in terms of, like, maybe you should shut down a little bit more. But again, it seems like he's been able to play through this and doesn't seem to be hampering too much. And if you want to look at the Boston series there, where they kind of asked him how he's doing, he says, he's not close to 100%, but he's getting there. So it does seem like something that will get, eventually rectified soon. He did have a home run. That was the Saturday game and a losing effort there. But to see him, at least hit a long ball there after the whole thing, that's a good sign, of course. Also, he did make a strong throw to home as well there. So looks like he's able to play through this, and and if this is one of those things that your body gets beat up a little bit during the regular season, and again, Soto's a pretty durable guy, as I mentioned in the previous episode. I mean, he hasn't been on the IL in almost 3 years there, so again, he pretty much holds up there. And if you want to make a case of why you want to sign like a guy like that, now he's only 25 years old, but he's not like one of these guys that get Anthony Rendon or with the Angels there, who's just on the IL all the time there. And he's pretty durable there, and it seems like Soto's is playing through this, and again, he should be fine. And we waited, pretty much almost half the season, and we finally did get Tommy Kahnle in the bullpen, which is great, but a little concerned about his fastball velocity, so it looks like it's down a little bit compared to last year. Right now, there's not too much concern, but right now he looks like he's averaging 93.7. Again, that's his average fastball so far since he's been back, whereas last year his average was 95.3, so he was pitching, I guess, 2 miles per hour quicker last year. And again, he's kind of just getting back in the grind a little bit. Didn't have a normal spring training. Did have some setbacks in when they were trying to get it back a little bit. So it doesn't seem like, it should be a big issue there. But, he's kind of one of your high-octane guys you're kind of, relying on. I mean, Tommy Kahnle, remember, his first go-around the Yankees, he was always up around 95, 96 there. So for him to be effective, he probably needs the fastball there, because that obviously, that's when he throws his off-speed stuff. Obviously, that's where he gets a lot of his strikeouts from there. So it doesn't seem like it's any concern right now there. I just think it's more that him just coming back into it, and probably as we get into the warmer months, even though we're already in June, you'll probably see him be able to air it out a little bit more. And again, it's not something I would say, a concern right now, a big, but of course, Tommy Kahnle, his stuff, he should be around 95. Now, overall, look at this Yankee bullpen. I think Brian Cashman, if there's going to be some moves to be made, is probably going to have to be in the bullpen, because they've almost been a little bit lucky to this point. They've been able to kind of piece this all together. Obviously, you trade King away in the offseason to get Soto, fine, you do that. Then you lose Loizaga early on there. And then, really from there, it's been kind of piecemeal. But the Yankees have been able to keep it together, get the ball to Holmes there in the ninth inning, and overall Holmes having a really good season for the Yankees. I know sometimes he makes you sweat a little bit, with the walks a little bit and some of his fielding miscues, but overall having a really good season for the Yankees there. But overall, look at this bullpen there. You kind of have to see how they're doing this. I mean, you get the likes of Luke Weaver, who's been coming on. That's great. I mean, he's kind of been like the Michael King replacement, but you got some other guys that is up and down a little bit. You got like a Victor Gonzalez is okay there. Again, you don't really have any Yankees don't really have like a marquee bullpen. They've just been kind of lucky putting this all together right now and just get the ball to Holmes. But you have to imagine, even with Scott Efros maybe due back at some point this season there, I think Brian Cashman probably makes 1 or 2 moves in the bullpen, maybe get a marquee type of lefty there, and maybe another kind of really solid 8th inning guy that the Yankees need right now. You've heard some people say that the Yankees should get another closer. I don't think so. I think Holmes has done great this season. I think he's earned the job. It's his job. Unless he just has like an awful month, I think you just go forward with Holmes as you close it either way. But the Yankees still just need some more pieces there, because you have too many of these guys that are just up and down, because Marinaccio is up great. You got that, but then of course, like, Ian Hamilton on and off the IL all the time, whether it's COVID or an oblique or a lat issue there. Then you got like Khalid Ferguson. It's just these kind of guys are up and down a little bit, not steady there. So I think you will see Cashman make some bullpen moves there. Even like a Nick Birdie, I mean, you get him for a week and then he's on the IL like there. So they've been lucky to this point to keep this together there. But that's not a bullpen you want to go to if you're looking for any sort of October aspirations there. So I think Cashman will be hitting the phones. People probably want to see like Glaber or something like that traded out and stuff like that. That's probably not happening. Anything with second base, but definitely the bullpen. I think Cashman's definitely going to make some moves there. Now, in addition to the disappointment of the Yankees losing that first series up in Fenway 2-1, but it was also the final game that was just kind of an embarrassment for the Yankees, where the Red Sox stole 9 bases, so they actually broke their single-season franchise record for steals in a game there. Actually, could have been 10, but Marcus Stroman did catch one guy stealing there, so could have almost been 10 stolen bases, but still 9's an embarrassment. All taken off Trevino there. And so shortly after that, there was kind of a little bit of a story in the New York Post kind of breaking down some stats there with the Trevino and Wells and kind of the Yankees pitching staff and kind of putting it out there. Is this the Yankees' Achilles heel? Can all teams just run against the Yankees? Is that the way to really beat them there? So I'll kind of, go through some of the stats they pointed out. They were kind of interesting. As you expect, the Yankees catching staff, Wells and Trevino aren't exactly the best. Not exactly the worst, kind of middle of the pack there. But we look at some of these numbers and I'll kind of react to the whole thing just overall there. So if you look at the Yankee pitching staff total, they've caught 25% of the runners trying to steal this. So that's 16 out of 65. So basically, maybe it looks like they nail 1 out of 4 steals there. And overall, you think, is that good? Is that bad? So far right now, that's 10th in all the majors. So again, the Yankees not the worst, but not the best, but not also the worst there. But if you want to break down both the catches, so first we'll look at Trevino. In terms of his arm strength, right now his average throw, it's 71.3 miles per hour. So that's actually second to worst in the league. Now, this is out of 61 that they call qualified catchers. So Trevino, not exactly with the strongest arm there. Now, we know Trevino's strength is the pitch framing there. He steals a lot of strikes there, so that's kind of his bread and butter. And, of course, he's a bit of a hitter there. He's got a bit of a bat. We saw him, hit a couple home runs in Fenway there. And a couple years ago, he was an all-star there. So he's got the bat. He's got the framing. But maybe not exactly Pudge Rodriguez or Molina throwing people out there. But we'll also look at Wells there. Much better there on his throws, 79.1 miles per hour on average, and that right now that's 28th out of 61 catches. So Wells' arm strength about middle of the road, but Trevino there quite at the bottom. Now there's something they measure catches called pop time. So pop time is basically the moment the ball hits the catcher's glove, when the catcher is able to spring up, throw the ball, and the infielder is in position to be able to catch it there. So that's what they call catcher pop time. This is another thing, the measurement tool they use for catcher defensive abilities there. So for Trevino, again, also not great there. So his pop time average is 2.07 seconds, which is the 4th slowest in the league. So he's kind of at the bottom there in terms of catcher. Now, Wells a little bit better. His pop time is 1.97, so that's 30th in the league there. So again, Wells is a bit about middle of the pack there. And if you want to say what's the top, I guess the leader of the pop time, it's 1.87 seconds. So if you see Wells there, it's only about 0.1 seconds less than whoever is the leader there. So you can see how this is just very close there. It's just like, 0.0. So it's not like Trevino's terrible. It's like 0.04 or something like that, seconds slower there. So it's not really a big deal. But of course, that's how they measure these catchers. So now you might say, is this the Yankees' Achilles heel? Can all teams run against them? Well, first of all, you got to look at the Friday night game, look at the Saturday game there. So the Friday game, Red Sox had no steals there. And then in the Saturday game, they just had 1. So if this was some big detrimental thing to the Yankees where you could steal off of them, why didn't Boston tee off on Friday? Why didn't they tee off on Saturday? They only did it Sunday. Now, Sunday, you had a couple of things working against the Yankees. Of course, the runners Boston had there, again, this is not your usual kind of. We always think of the Boston Red Sox like the Yankees, kind of this lumbering sluggers, and that's it. Well, this is a different Boston team this year. Not doing great. I'm just about a game over 500, but they had a lot of speeds, and the 3 guys that they had team off, the 3 guys stealing the bases, 3 of them. They're in the top 50 of the fastest runners in all baseball right now. So you have 3 fast guys there. And also you look at that game, Boston pretty much had a lead the whole way. I mean, I know Judge had the early first inning home run there, but then Boston basically took the lead, and then from there pretty much led the whole way. Well, when you got a lead there, you could take more risks. You could steal more bases there. So that's why you didn't see them stealing bases in the Friday night game, because you had Luis Hill pitching. The Yankees had a lead there. So you're normally going to steal bases when you're down a few runs, because you need runners on, so you're hoping for a 2 or 3 run home run to get you back in the game there. Same with the Saturday game. The game game was close a little bit before it got away from the Yankees a little bit. So again, you're not going to steal as many. So if you look at that Sunday game, I just think it was a perfect storm of a lot of things. I just think, yes, the score dictates your ability to take risks, because if you're a lead and you get thrown out, what's the big deal? So yeah, you're going to be more apt to steal bases. The guys on the bases are some of the fastest runners in the entire league there. And, you know, Boston's just a little bit of funky. Fenway Park's a little bit funky there, the infield a little bit. I think it's all those things coming together there was more. And the fact that, yeah, you could just steal on the Yankees anytime. And, of course, base stealing is not just up to the catches. It's up to the pitchers to, you know, hold the ball. It's up to the infielders to signal each other. I mean, a lot goes into nailing some runners at the bases more than just the catcher. Everyone just thinks it's just the catcher throwing everyone else. No, there's other pieces. There's also the pacing of the game, the pitcher as well. So a lot of people to be blamed for it. And even Stroman took some responsibility for the game as well. Said, you know, again, maybe he might have been holding the ball too long, stuff like that. Again, Stroman did nail one of the runners there. But, again, a lot goes into stealing bases. And the Yankee catchers, you know, again, they're not the best, but they're not the worst. And I don't think it's just some sort of detrimental, like this is the blueprint to beat the Yankees. No, but you also need the type of players that could steal bases. And, you know, not everyone has Boston staff. Not everyone has, you know, their base runners there. So I don't think this, you know, and it's not something that's been like a problem for the Yankees the whole season there. You know, this only came up because I think this, because, you know, that one game, you steal 9 bases. Everyone's like, oh, wow. Like, okay, yeah, it's going to get a lot of attention. But overall, I don't think it's pinpoint anything about the Yankee staff in general. And I don't think, again, you know, I don't think it's just, you know, without any team could just run against the Yankees there. It was just a perfect storm of a lot of things that one night there, and that's all it is. And the Yankees catches, whether it's Trevino or Wells, I don't think it's the problem for the Yankees. I don't think they're holding the Yankees back. I don't think there any sort of issue there. And even if Trevino's not the best thrower there, what he could do, especially someone like Gerrit Cole, I mean, he steals so many strikes there. I'll go with Trevino the rest of the way. No problem with me. So, you know, at almost the midway point of the season, of course, you know, it's the big all-star game, and they've released some of the voting data right now, and going to kind of be a surprise in first place, only because I thought automatically it would just be Ohtani, just for his overall popularity across the game. Again, he's someone who kind of just transcends the sport itself, but no, actually, it's Aaron Judge here. So this is the voting baseball put out. Now, this is as of June 17th, so maybe, you know, by the time you get this, maybe the numbers might be a little bit different, but right now, Judge leads all. Right now in first place, so right now he's got 1,366,315 votes. So again, a surprise. I just thought automatically it would be Ohtani, just because it's Ohtani. He's like an Elvis rock star there, but nevertheless, it's Aaron Judge who kind of deserves it. Again, he's been in an absolute tear right now. Looks like he's on his way to, you know, as long as nothing happens, probably going to be the MVP. Remains to be seen. But again, I was just kind of surprised when it was Ohtani. Now, number 2, you might think, maybe Ohtani's number 2. No, he's not. So even a bigger shocker, number 2 is his teammate, Juan Soto there. So Soto coming in second right now with 1,252,020, so an even 20 there. So it's Judge and Soto right there, 1 and 2. So now it's early on, there's still the whole June to go and part of July there. So again, this could change, you know, at an instant. But it seems at least Yankee fans are going out there pumping the box, maybe voting early, voting often. I haven't done it yet. I don't know if I've done it in a while. So maybe I'll throw my name in the hat there. Now, if you want to look at some other Yankees, now, how it works is that obviously you get 2 players at each position. The top 2 vote getters at each position get in there. So possibly could see some more Yankees there, but they're a little lagging a little bit. So right now, if you want to look at the DH spot, Stanton is in second right now. So Stanton, if he could hold that spot or even leapfrog, go one more up, he'll be in. So right now, if it ended today, Stanton would be in. But some other Yankees right now at shortstop would be Volpe, who's having a really good season. But unfortunately, right now he's at third. So if it did end today, he would not qualify. And someone else is maybe kicking the tires a little bit. Trevino, who I just mentioned before, right now he's also in third. Again, so right this second, he would not qualify. So now on the pitching end of it, obviously that has a lot to do with, you know, who's available, you know, obviously what days off they are. But you would have to imagine that Luis Hill would definitely be in the conversation. I mean, again, he's been probably the best pitcher in baseball overall as a starter right now. But again, we don't know if he's going to be able to play it, because maybe he has to start right before the All-Star game, and of course Boone's not going to want some opposing manager throwing him out there, so that all has to do with it as well. But I would also assume Clay Holmes should also be in the mix too. So if you had to ask me right now, you probably definitely look at Judge, definitely looking at Soto, probably Clay Holmes, Luis Hill. Obviously not enough time for Cole there. So you're probably at least going to get 4 Yankee All-Stars, maybe 5, which kind of makes sense because, again, they're almost 30 games over 500, doing well in the AL East there. So that's the voting. And, of course, once we get down to the end of the year, you're probably looking at both Soto and Judge are probably going to be competing for the MVP.